The first full moon of 2023 is a Cancer full moon, which arrives here in just a couple of days. And this Cancer full moon is the first actual syzygy, new moon or full moon of 2023. And so in some ways, it's kind of the jolt of energy or the kickstart of energy that may be defining this first little basket or pocket of time in 2023. We're going to look at it in this video. We're going to break it down. So stay with me. It's an exciting time, as always a lot going on with the astrology, and I'm here to break it down. My name's S.J. Anderson. Thank you for being here. This is my YouTube channel where I talk about astrology. I break down transits. I try to engage with the unfolding symbols of our astrological reality and trying to help me and help people listening and people out there with, using astrology in the way it's intended and at its best, which is to understand symbolic activation and then navigate with those understandings in our lives and in our, in the unfoldment of our lives, using the symbols to kind of make choices and interfacing with the divine. Frankly, I think it's part of interfacing with the divine, because all of these symbols are contained in a larger divine reality, the oneness that is God. These symbols are just a part of that expression, is how I see it. So, and there's, other astrologers in history have viewed it in the same way. But let's dive in here. Here's the chart, 7 January 2023, 7. That's the time, 7, which in military time, that's 12:07 a.m. right here in Central Europe. This is the chart of the capital of Europe, Brussels, Belgium, Central European time. And so we're looking at about a day and a few hours for when this full moon hits. And if you're watching this video after the full moon has perfected, it's okay. Because in astrology, a syzygy actually sets the tone for 2 weeks until the next one. And so these are the themes or energies that are operative for about 2 weeks. And there's some charts I'm going to talk about, at least one, that happens after this full moon. Plus, this full moon will be contextualized within the other unfolding astrology that we're living through. But let's just talk about the chart right away. We've got the strong Saturn in Aquarius still. So this is an underlying energetic here in our reality, Venus and Saturn in Aquarius. I broke that down in a recent video. My Venus in Aquarius video talked all about the final months of Saturn in Aquarius and using that. And then we've got the moon in domicile in Cancer. And so those are the two ruling planets of the sky and the two final dispositors, we say. And so, the thing I love about this chart, just to say right off the bat, is that you have Jupiter in Aries, the exaltation lord of Cancer, receiving the moon. And so there's this wonderful moon-Jupiter exchange in the cardinal signs of initiation. And we're right in a new year. With the sense of wanting to get started and new ideas and maybe even new actions emerging for you. I think this full moon can provide some deeper context around what those new actions are going to be for you in 2023. What is the moon? The body, the mother, the home. Those are the three main significations of the moon. You take it to a more spiritual octave, and it's the kind of divine matrix of reality, the deeper, undergirding of the programming of reality, you might say. I always think about the Matrix movie when I think about Cancer and the moon, and seeing actually what is really happening in this reality, and the fact that we, I believe, are part of a divine, oneness, like I said earlier, and we're part of the expression of that divine being born every moment. There's a birth that takes place every moment, every day. We make choices. We are born into new things, new parts of ourselves emerge, new conditions in life, new people that we meet. So there's this constant becoming that's part of our existence, that's fundamental to existence. And that's, to me, what Cancer also represents, but home, body, mother. And so this full moon being received by Jupiter in this lovely exchange, I think we can think about, what are you starting in 2023 with home, body, mother? Maybe you're gonna, and you'll see here, I've got some news stories that I'm gonna bring in related to these themes, but maybe new initiations around the home life, new initiations with your nurturing, people you're nurturing or people you're being nurtured by, that you can feel opportunities to engage in that nurturance during this period here at the beginning of 2023. The thing about the chart, though, this is the only syzygy that will include both Mars retrograde and Mercury retrograde. And so it's this dissonance that we've been having recently, where you have these retrograde energies, and then at the same time, activated cardinal signs auspiciously activated cardinal signs where it's like, let's go, let's initiate, let's do. And then we have retrograde saying, hey, well, hold on a second. Maybe another couple of passes of review are needed. Another way to look at it is that all the initiation you've been doing, it may take some time for it to get off the ground. It may take some time for it to fully settle in and cohere and then groove into 2023. Mars stations direct on 12 January, Mercury stations direct on 18 January. By that first waxing lunar cycle, at the end of January, there's a new moon in Aquarius, and then there's 2 weeks of a waxing cycle. That's, I think, the first cycle where we'll really have all the brakes removed. And there's no planets that are retrograde amongst the traditionals. It's kind of full steam ahead into 2023, but we're still in that dissonant phase. And so if you've started things, maybe it's going to take some time to go here, or maybe you've been waiting to do some stuff. I've been waiting. I'm, as an electional astrologer, I like to have direct planets, particularly Mercury, in most activities. Mars too, you just want some direct planets. So, okay, let's keep going. Let's go to the next slide. I want to turn to Isabel Hickey. Just going to go through some astrology here. It's an astrology channel. I like to quote sources. This is an awesome book. It's one I was thinking, what book should I use? I was like, let's just go back to Isabel Hickey, because it's a textbook, and it's a full coverage textbook, Astrology, the Cosmic Science. What does she say about Cancer? Cardinal water sign, feminine receptive sign. And then she says, keyword, I feel. And I want to talk about that. The restless tides of the ocean, the surging and ebbing of emotions rules the physical body. In the physical body rules the breast, the stomach, and the solar plexus. The solar plexus can be that kind of root of our power, right? And so we're already talking about the bodily power, but gets connected to the emotions. And I love that she mentions the lunar tides, because that's the one thing when there's these debates amongst skeptics and astrologers will often say, listen, the moon is pulling the ocean. You don't think it affects you? We're water in our bodies, whatever percentage, 60, 70% water. We're being pulled by the moon all the time. And there's science and studies about the lunar effect or the full moon effect. It affects us physically. And that's why I think you talk about the emotions, but the body. The other thing I love about this is that emotions live in the body. It's an exercise you can try if you're ever feeling emotional for whatever, anger, frustration, depression, sadness. If you have intense feelings, anxiety, just close your eyes, focus on your breath, and see where the sensations are in the body. Often you can feel it moving all throughout your body. These emotions live in the body. Thoughts can be produced by these physical sensations in the body that then produce thoughts. And so this is, I think, part of the Cancerian archetype, is that we feel from a bodily core. And that is part of what is engaged here in this period here in 2023. And I want to come to the Chariot, the Tarot trump that is correspondent to the sign of Cancer. I see this as someone who's in their body and grounded. You see that in Pamela Coleman Smith's illustrations, there's no wheels on this thing. It's just like a concrete, thing that he's encased in and just sitting. And I think it has to do with the stability that comes from being in our body, bodily awareness, where we can know our emotional states. Once we're engaged with that and aware of that and embodying what we're feeling, there's great power that comes from that. There's an ability to move in reality without being destabilized emotionally, because we're familiar with creating a container for that inner life, that robust inner life. That container is created, it's stable, and it allows us to maneuver in spite of maybe emotional ups and downs. And so that's how I see this Chariot card. It's a container for the emotional body that once that is established, there can become great power of initiation from that place. It supports action. Okay, let's keep going here. Here's some news stories. What I've been doing recently on the channel is with the syzygy videos, I like to look at the news, and I'm using these to kind of just stay in touch with some news stories that are coming. This is in December, Bibu Patnaik. There's this idea going around about a population collapse, and some countries are clearly in population collapse, zero population growth, and they're going to decline in this next few decades. And this story went around in December. Artificial womb facility could grow 30,000 babies a year, and there were these pictures. And of course, it's not real. It's fake. But this was HuffPost. The scientists say it could be real, that we could have some kind of facility where we're just growing babies in an artificial womb. It's like a scene from The Matrix, rows upon rows of babies. And I think that anytime, the reason why I'm bringing this up is, remember, Saturn powerful in Aquarius, the final Aquarian activations before then Pluto comes in March. But we're in an age of air. Saturn and Jupiter have conjoined in air signs now and will for the next 140 years continuously. And so there's a heavy component of high tech and sci-fi in our current reality. And so when Cancer is activated, like this syzygy, this full moon, it's a good time to check in with themes around body, home, and mother in the context of the sci-fi. And that's why I think these videos, these stories are quite interesting. The other thing here that, there's Japan's million yen idea to tackle demographic decline. They're planning on subsidizing families. But you just think about it in your life. How do you feel about family and home? How's that going for you right now? Do you have contact? No contact? Are you loving your home life? Are there things you need to talk about? Anytime a full moon arrives, it's a time to maybe engage those themes actively. These are active energies, a full moon. So maybe you can talk with your own family about how can you be nurtured, or how can you nurture better, or thank people. Anytime I see these activations, if it's going well, Jupiter in Aries, you might say, hey, thank you. I love this new energy that we started the year with. Thank you for your nurturing. I love you. Just tell people you love them. I mean, never miss an opportunity to say I love you to people. I think that's one of the most precious things we can do, and we should regularly do it, is how I like to live. Okay, let's keep going. This is the movie that I love. This is one of my favorite movies ever. It's called Children of Men by Alfonso Cuarón. He's the director. And Clive Owen is in it. And it's all about what happens if babies can't be born. It's a sci-fi about that idea. And that doesn't give anything away. That's the first 5 minutes of the movie. You learn that. But, the idea that there's something so primal in our humanity and in what it means to be a human being, the idea of gestation and birth, and that we come from this kind of cosmic oneness, and then we're incarnated into a physical form, and we have mothers, or people the people that birth us, the people that take care of us. And that's a foundational part of our humanity. It hits to the very, very core, and so just think about that. You might want to talk to your mom or your mother figures. If your mother's passed, talk to people that are serving that role for you right now, and just thank them. And so this is a very sci-fi movie. It's very Aquarian. So you might want to check this out if you want to enjoy the full moon with a film. This is my recommendation. I bawl every time I watch this movie. I just bawl. So the sense that Cancer is emotions, this is one that can trigger some emotions. It's a very moving movie. Tears of joy, tears of just foundational tears. This film triggers in me. Okay, let's keep going. Let's push. Here's the chart again. I want to just touch base with it again. And you can see here Mercury being retrograde and under the sun's beams. This doesn't feel like a very mercurial moon where we want to, we're getting into like business and tech and all of that. You might want to wait until Mercury comes out of the sun's beams and stations direct before engaging in things like publishing or sending your, website, the new drafts, and making those live. It's just part of this moment. The focus is not the linguistic and the precision intellect. The focus is the body and the emotion and the self that comes in maybe those non-intellectual states where we feel what's happening inside the body. And so just keep that in mind. That's another major component here. It fits with the themes we've already been discussing. I'm just going to move. I think I've discussed enough here in the chart. I think I'm just going to move. Okay. Here's some more news. It fits with what I just said. Mercury's under the beams and retrograde, and it's a time to plan. I love Mercury retrogrades for just pausing and planning. And here was Dallas Morning News. What's my plan for 2023? And this person was setting up intentions. House cleanup was part of that planning. I think that would be perfect for this moment, for this next period until Mars and Mercury station direct. Clean up your physical environment. Cancer full moon. That energy is injected into these next few days and weeks. I love this. I hope to do some of this cleaning. Here's ideas from solar panels. I saw this fits with the age of air stuff. And I'm really into like tech news right now. This is MIT Technology Review. I recommend the publication, but I want to touch base with themes around tech because of the age of air, and Saturn is power in Aquarius. Pluto then comes to Aquarius. So this is about solar panels. A little shade can be helpful for some crops to reduce carbon emissions. And so for the farm, they're using these solar panels with farming. That's all about Mother Earth, right? Gaia, the Gaian energy, the Cancerian energy. Breakthroughs around how to live and how to thrive here on Earth can be seen with Cancer. And then there's these questions here about waste with solar energy, right? India's going big with solar energy, but it's time to focus on its waste too. A lot of these EV panels, that they don't know how to recycle them. I'm not an expert on this, but it's just another side of it. Like, we clean up with Cancer, but then you may see things that you don't like. When we go deep into our selfhood, we often discover things about us that need cleaning, and so be aware that it's a double-edged here. Cancer is not just this lovely little mother holding you. I mean, it can be dark. It's real. It's as real as it gets. And there's always, a shadow side. And so, be aware that might be something you go into here. Maybe you're grieving the mother you didn't have. I didn't have a mother for a lot of my childhood, and it's very difficult when you don't have that energy. Or maybe you've fallen out with your mom, or, that she's passed on or they've passed on. So leave space for that is my advice. Anytime you deal with Cancer, it's one of those zodiac signs that is the root of reality. And so there is the darkness that emerges there. It's a night sex sign, darkness. Okay. Here was let's see here. This was a tweet I had just made right when preparing for this video. This moon is in Cancer, received by his exaltation Lord Jupiter. The continual process of homecoming continues in the new year, and we're preparing for more active astrology in the coming weeks. This Cancer moon is a chance to settle into our bodies, physical and emotional. Everything I just said in this video, that's the summary. And this includes a little bit of some AI art I just generated. I kind of like this. I felt like it was very much Jupiter and Aries with the red, and then the greens of the moon. And there was just a nice blend here. It relaxed me seeing this bit of AI art. And then this is I think the final slide of the video. I want to point you to a moon that's coming before the next new moon. This Libra moon that's waning, that arrives here on 14 January, so 7 days from the full moon in Cancer. This Libra moon's lovely. It's supported by malefic planets in terms of a trine. And so you don't have these harsh malefics impacting it. You have the support here. Mars is now direct. And this moon applies to Venus in, Aquarius, applying to Venus and Aquarius by a trine. I just think it's a lovely time to, maybe if you're having to move into the year, this could be a candidate to do it. If you're forced to act a little bit earlier before Mercury stations retrograde, look to this Libra moon applying to Venus, its domicile lord, right here on 14 January. For opportunities for action. Mercury in this chart isn't as bad. I mean, it's what we call phasis. It's about to come out from the sun's beams. I think the next day it'll start becoming visible. So that's a preferred moon during a preferred Mercury during a Mercury retrograde. It's that Mercury that is visible and reborn as a morning star, even though it's not quite moving forward yet. So just an election for you. An election, I like to do that in these videos. I like to check in with these cool moons. This is one I'm going to advise. And I do not have the screenshot of my website, but I can just go there right now and show you the website, sjanderson144.com. You can always just go there, check it out. You can see my reading schedule. You just click here to schedule an astrology reading, and you just click schedule appointment. That'll bring up my calendar, and you can check what my availability is. I haven't been as available, but there's still slots there, I think, in March. So check that out if you're interested in that. But other than that, enjoy your Cancer full moon. Home, body, mom, nurture, the depth of reality, and go into those themes as you're planning for 2023 and this powerful, more active astrology that arrives in January, late January, and then February, March. So take care, talk soon, and I will see you in the next video.